right now, a lot of creators out there, hey, I'm just starting off on Instagram. I'm just starting off on TikTok. I'm just starting off on YouTube. And then it feels like, Aleric, you build a channel with 500,000 subscribers. You said 9 years ago was very different. One, could you speak to those people? Are they late to the game now, being 2024? And if they really want to grow their brand like you did, what's just some practical steps they should be taking to grow their brand?
That is a great question. And honestly, it's not too late. There's just the strategy has changed a little bit. So here's the thing, the way I like to look at it is in the past there was less competition, but there wasn't as many tools or playbooks or knowledge of what worked. So a lot of what we did was trial and error, trying to figure out what worked the best. Now, yes, there are more people doing it, but you have the beauty of actually having a playbook and a strategy and a process because others have forged the path, right? And that's the way that I really like to look at it. And YouTube also is rewarding value-based content, right? People who watch content and actually engage. We've talked about how valuable the watch time is.
Absolutely.
Right? So how long do people watch the content? Do they really engage more in depth with that?
Yeah.
And then there's also tools like YouTube ads, and I know we've been talking about this for your channel as well.
Yeah.
YouTube ads to also help you get those videos in front of more people, called infeed ads. And those are strategies that you can use to take the videos you're already publishing on YouTube and actually get them in front of people that might be interested in watching them. And then they'll appear in search results, they'll appear alongside other videos, suggested videos. It's a specific type of YouTube ad. Now, I know you know this, but the audience, they might not know this. So the normal type of YouTube ad, probably a lot of your audience is familiar with, is in-stream ads. The ads that appear in front of other videos on YouTube. And those are great for driving conversions. Let's say you want to drive people to signing up for your email list or a webinar or a lead magnet, whatever it is, right? Or booking a call or buying a product. But if you want to get people to start consuming your content, watching your videos, watching your channel, you can run in-feed ads, a different type of ad that appears in search results as a suggested video, as people are scrolling on the feed, and then it feels like that video is naturally recommended.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We got a very exciting guest with us on this episode, Aleric. This man the accomplishments are beyond, imagine for his age. 27 years old, on the multiple series of Inc. 5000, 3 years in a row. But above all else, he's got a heart of gold. In addition to his magnificent brain, he has created this amazing company about YouTube AdOutreach. We're actually in his office right now, as y'all see the beautiful background right here at the Omni downtown Austin. So Aleric, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like, how'd you got where you're at right now? What's the journey like? Let the audience know a little bit about you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Kevin. I'm really excited, which is awesome, and I love the energy that you bring all the time.
Thank you.
And it's we met and we hit it off instantly, which is great.
Did.
Like, there's not many people that can keep up with the energy level, and it's been fantastic. So my background, I started out on YouTube 15 years ago. I was reviewing mobile apps, tech tutorials, teaching people how to use their iPhone for the first time. And those videos started taking off. I started when I was pretty young. So, I was 12 back then when I started. I'm 27 now. But back in 2009, YouTube was a totally different platform, right?
Sure, absolutely.
People were watching videos. They're trying to figure out, okay, how do I use my iPhone? What are the best apps? And I started creating videos about that. And some of the videos that really started to take off were my videos on how to use an iPhone for the first time. And those would get millions of views, just teaching people, hey, A to Z, here's how to use an iPhone, here's how it works, here's the best apps that you might want to check out. And I just remember those videos doing so well. And soon enough, more and more people were watching. I was doing that throughout high school. I was doing it into college. And in college, I started to, hire some fellow students. So, I hired a videographer. I hired, an editor, a person to do, scripts, somebody to do business development. I started kind of growing that business. And then about 9 years ago, I got into the YouTube ad side of things. And that's what I do today with AdOutreach. I know we're diving into the backstory. But what my business does today is help businesses, especially coaching, consulting, expert-based businesses with YouTube ads to get more leads and sales. And so how I got into that was I was doing, I have my YouTube channel. So back in college, I had all of these different apps that were sponsoring my YouTube channel. Because I grew to about 500,000 subscribers, and they were all saying okay, can you promote my app on your channel? And I had all these different apps doing their promotions. And one day, one of them said, hey, this video is so great. How can we get more people to see it?
Sure.
And that's when I said, well, what if we run a YouTube ad? They were a little skeptical at first, but I ended up taking that video, running that as an ad, and they got thousands of downloads for their app. And so they're blown away. They're like, this is great. So then, they went back and there was a performance marketing company that was working with them, and they said, oh, hey, we've got another app. And that does really well. And they're like, we've got another app. And then they call me up and they say, hey, Aleric, we want you to drop out of college, fly out to Silicon Valley, join our team, and run YouTube ads for mobile apps. And it was a tempting offer, especially as a college student, but I turned it down. I was like, you know what? I want to continue to build this myself.
Sure.
And that's where AdOutreach was born. And I created AdOutreach back in 2016. Actually, AdOutreach just turned 8 years old.
Super exciting, man.
Yeah, thank you. And I started just to really love like the impact of these types of coaching, consulting, and course-based businesses. And I started to help them with YouTube ads. And people were asking me, hey, Aleric, how are you doing YouTube ads? And I would start doing that and helping them with that. And that's where it really turned into more of a business. We grew the team. We've got about over 30 people now on the AdOutreach Dream Team. And we've got our offices here in Austin, as just kind of showed you around. And it's been an amazing journey, and we're just getting started. It's just the beginning.
There are people in this world who are very humble in their accomplishments, and Aleric is one of it. Because if you guys look at background right here, he's literally got a prime location here in Austin. That kind of just tells you what he's able to accomplish in the last 7 to 8 years. Aleric, you obviously have this genuine ability to be a great teacher, even hearing you speak right now.
Thank you.
You're very philosophical in the way that you speak. But I want to touch base on one specific piece for the audience.
Yeah.
Right now, a lot of creators out there, hey, I'm just starting off on Instagram. I'm just starting off on TikTok. I'm just starting off on YouTube. And then it feels like, Aleric, you build a channel with 500,000 subscribers. You said 9 years ago was very different. One, could you speak to those people? Are they late to the game now, being 2024? And if they really want to grow their brand like you did, what's just some practical steps they should be taking to grow their brand?
That is a great question. And honestly, it's not too late. There's just the strategy has changed a little bit. So here's the thing, the way I like to look at it is in the past there was less competition, but there wasn't as many tools or playbooks or knowledge of what worked. So a lot of what we did was trial and error, trying to figure out what worked the best. Now, yes, there are more people doing it, but you have the beauty of actually having a playbook and a strategy and a process because others have forged the path, right? And that's the way that I really like to look at it. And YouTube also is rewarding value-based content, right? People who watch content and actually engage. We've talked about how valuable the watch time is.
Absolutely.
Right? So how long do people watch the content? Do they really engage more in depth with that?
Yeah.
And then there's also tools like YouTube ads, and I know we've been talking about this for your channel as well.
Yeah.
YouTube ads to also help you get those videos in front of more people called infeed ads. And those are strategies that you can use to take the videos you're already publishing on YouTube and actually get them in front of people that might be interested in watching them. And then they'll appear in search results, they'll appear alongside other videos and suggested videos. It's a specific type of YouTube ad. Now, I know you know this, but the audience, they might not know this. So the normal type of YouTube ad, probably a lot of your audience is familiar with, is in-stream ads. The ads that appear in front of other videos on YouTube. And those are great for driving conversions. Let's say you want to drive people to signing up for your email list or a webinar or a lead magnet, whatever it is, right? Or booking a call or buying a product. But if you want to get people to start consuming your content, watching your videos, watching your channel, you can run in-feed ads, a different type of ad that appears in search results, as a suggested video, as people are scrolling on the feed, and then it feels like that video is naturally recommended. Now, there's a couple different ways to do it. I know we've talked about this, and there's nuance. We can go there if we want, or I know there's a lot of topics we want to cover. There's ways to do it inside of YouTube with the promotion tab. It's a little bit more broad that way, and you can reach a wider group of people, but might not be as focused. And there's also ways to do it by doing what's called an in-feed ad inside of Google Ads, and you can do it from the Google Ads platform, and then that's a little bit more targeted to say, I want to reach these specific types of people. It's not right or wrong. There's just opportunities to do it in different ways. And also give you some of the, I know I sent you some resources, but for everybody watching, I'll make sure I send you the link again for the in-feed ad training if any of your audience would benefit.
And we'll put it in the description because Aleric really goes in details of the advantage and the disadvantage of each option, specifically if you want to grow on YouTube, where his expertise is. One of the great piece of advice you really gave me when I really decided to really branch into YouTube. You guys know I'm fairly new to YouTube. Is that, hey, it seems that everybody has a message. Everybody have a story to tell. But it takes practicality, it takes experience and wisdom to know that what are people actually searching for, and how important it is to match what people are searching for versus the value you mentioned you're delivering, to be able to marry the two. Could you speak a little bit about that? Because I feel like for a lot of young creators, like, I just want to tell the world my story, which is great, but how can you frame it in a way that people are actually searching for your story so you can be discovered?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, that's what people are looking for. So people are going on YouTube for one of two reasons, either to be entertained or to learn. Right? And if you're watching this video right now, you're here to learn. And a lot of people are here to learn. And so what we want to do is create videos that tap into the fact that people are going to YouTube to learn. And so we want to reach those people, and we want to, get in front of them with our content, with our value, with our information. Now, some of you might be wanting to make an entertainment channel. That's awesome. But I know my advice really, really speaks to the people who are creating something that's looking to learn. So let's say you have a unique expertise, a skill set. Well, you can create a video about that. And the benefit of YouTube compared to every other platform is it is the second largest search engine after Google itself. And Google oftentimes has YouTube video results inside of Google. So you get YouTube search results, Google search results, because Google owns YouTube. And so YouTube is a repository. Other platforms, you make a Facebook post, you make a TikTok post, you make whatever it happens to be, and it's great and you can get some reach, and we'll actually talk about that. But then a week later, a month later, not as many people are watching that video, if at all.
Right.
Versus on YouTube, people could actually be searching and watching your videos years later. In fact, we have people that watch some of our beginner's guides on like the iPhone 7, on the iPhone 10, right? Like on some of these like earlier phones that maybe they're getting like a phone and actually in different countries are looking at, like some of those videos that I had made before on my YouTube channel where I teach how to do things like infeed ads. People are watching those videos years later, right? And so it's because you're creating content that's going to be valuable now and in the future, and people can search it, and if you title it and you give it a thumbnail and a title that's lined up with exactly what you do, then you're going to get more people to like watch that content. You're going to provide more value, and they could find this interview we're doing right now a year from now, and let us know in the comments if that's the case.
Yeah, a year from now, who knows? By now, my hair might turn gray by then. Dude, I love absolutely exactly what you said, because one, it's about that discoverability phase. How can people actually discover you? And then two, that repository, you never know down the road how this is going to be beneficial, useful to someone else. So speak on that a little bit about like building your brand. You obviously choose YouTube, and then you inspired me to be on YouTube as kind of like my primary platform for multitude of reasons. But for the sake of this conversation, just some of the reasons you mentioned now, repository, discoverability. So for folks that are kind of discovering, who are like some people in terms of who are YouTube's really for? Is that really building for like a long-term brand, so someday with a hope to monetize at some point? Or is it more of like, hey, you got a story to tell, you just want to like make an impact in the world? Can you kind of talk to that person a little bit? What's like a 3-year plan look like if they just keep building their YouTube, keep uploading video? What's a healthy trajectory look like in a few years?
Oh yeah, I'll break it down, and I think this will actually be really valuable for you as well.
100%.
And some of it is some of what we talked about already, but I'll actually expand a little deeper. And so what I would really recommend is having YouTube be the hub. That is your center of your content. And you focus on creating, ideally, weekly content. Now you can create more content than that. You also could create less, but weekly is like kind of, that's a standard, right? That's like a norm. That's also what we do, and I know we've talked about that too. And so creating that weekly piece of cornerstone content, could be podcasts, could also be a video speaking to the camera, whatever it happens to be, you're creating that cornerstone piece of content. And from that, you create all these other pieces of content, right? So you could create YouTube shorts from that. I showed you AI tool, Opus clip, that allows you to take that YouTube video, and it uses AI to create shorts. And then you take those shorts and you run them on, and you put them on your channel, and you do those daily, and then you link back to the original podcast at the bottom, and people can click that link to go back to the original podcast. And then then you take those short form pieces of content and you put them on other platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and some of these platforms that have reels. Then you could take that video, you could transcribe it, and you could use ChatGPT or Claude to turn it into a post for Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter or whatever it happens to be. And again, it's not gonna be perfect, so you wanna make a few tweaks to it, but it can get your voice. Like a thing you could literally ask is basically just go into ChatGPT or Claude and just say, can you turn this transcript into a value-based Facebook post using my voice, tone, and style?
Yeah.
Super
important.
It does a really good job. You want to make sure, exactly, your voice, tone, and style. Otherwise, you'll get a million emojis, and stuff like that on it. But if you do that, then you have that piece of content. Now you could put that content out there. You start a newsletter. And all of this stems from one cornerstone piece of content that you repurpose dozens of times. Now, what does this look like in the future? Well, what this looks like in the future, the more pieces of content you put on YouTube, the more your backlog is, the more likely you are to have videos where people are searching those videos, consistently watching those videos. And so 3 years from now, you're gonna have 150 videos, at least, of long form pieces of content. And multiple of those are gonna be outliers, really strong, great videos that get a lot of traction and are continuing to get views consistently. Then many more of them are going to get a steady trickle of views. And then there's some that are gonna die out, and it's just natural, right? But you're gonna have some cornerstone, really great videos. You're gonna have the majority of the videos are gonna get a trickle of views. So that's actually the main type of videos. Like they'll get some views over time, but that's still helping you because it might be a very niche subject that you're talking about, but people find it and they're like, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is great, and they'll subscribe. So now your channel grows, it gets more subscribers. You're posting daily short form content. The short form content is like an advertisement that YouTube gives you for free. YouTube will literally say, I'm going to get your video in front of, what we were saying, 800 people.
Exactly.
I will show a clip of your podcast to 800 people for free. I mean,
absolutely phenomenal.
That's a great deal, right?
Yeah,
you go and do that, and then, it links back right at the bottom to that podcast, and it is a small percentage, but a percentage of people will click that, and then those are the people really interested, and they'll watch the podcast, and they're like, this is awesome. And you do that every day, you're going to keep snowballing more and more. You do that on other social media platforms, and you lead all of that back either to YouTube or potentially to a newsletter, and the newsletter can lead to all the different platforms. But either way, you lead people back to that core piece of content or core place, and it's going to keep growing. And so your channel should grow. And then, not to mention, that's all the free strategy. You start doing an ads-based strategy, and that's like gasoline on the fire. And I know you know about that. You've started to, you could probably share some of what you've seen.
You mentored me.
Hey guys, I don't run any ads in this podcast because my mission is to make an impact in your life and help you move the needle towards your aspiration. It will mean a lot to me if you subscribe, share, or leave a comment. I would love to hear from you so we can spread the word and make a further impact together. All right, back to the conversation.
Let's be realistic. I learned from the best. I learned from Aleric right here. And again, watch the infeed ad strategy. We'll put it in the description right here because it's so valuable. Kind of put this towards people that are searching for related video, and then just kind of have your video pop up next to it. So you're kind of next in line. Hey, what's this about? Let me check this out. So Aleric, you mentioned other content. I feel like for a lot of creators out there that they'll create all these content, and then a few of them, to your point, will just take off. And then a few of them won't do so good. It's important we don't lose faith in that process and continue on our mission. But speaking to that business mindset, obviously you kind of pivoted. You were doing reviews for apps, teaching people how to use the iPhone, and then you eventually pivoted to AdOutreach. At what point in business for a creator, or what point in your business, maybe if you like to share, when do you know when to pivot, when something's working, or when do you just stay true to your message? Hey, this kind of works, but it's just kind of fun. I'm not really going to pivot. Can you tell us a little bit about that from a mindset perspective?
Yeah. So that's a really great question. And I think that part of it is identifying opportunities where you are in the right place at the right time, and you have to, and I think that the thing is, some people call that luck, but what I call that is great timing that you have by putting yourself in positions where you have an opportunity and then seizing it. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I had that idea, when they go and see something, but if you have that idea and you see and you're not going to know it's perfect timing in the moment. And what you don't see is done things that haven't worked out, but I've also done things that have worked out.
Right.
You know, and it's either a win or a learning lesson. It's a big, like, you know, it's what I call the entrepreneur's mindset, right?
Totally.
It's like either a win or a learning lesson, and you either see that success and you compound those wins, or you learn lessons that's going to build you up and make you a better entrepreneur. That's going to allow you to grow from there. Like, you know, I wanted to do. I was looking at doing like. And so I wanted to do like some kind of like news-based thing originally and create like a mobile app, and I was talking with a developer and all this stuff, and you know, I thought that was like the next thing from AppFind, and that didn't really work out. And then I was doing these YouTube ads, and I was like, wait a second, this is really good. And then I got a job offer. So here's the thing, sometimes it's not it's not the golden opportunity, it's the platinum opportunity that might be in the background. Yeah. So here's the thing. I got what some would call a golden ticket. So I had my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel at that time was doing very low, like 6 figures. I was using to pay for college, and I also had some team members, but it was lucrative for me. But it wasn't like a full-scale business, right, at that point. I mean, it was a business, but you know, it wasn't, and it was more very linear. So I was putting a lot into it to get that, and it was kind of hard to exponentially scale.
Sure. And
so I had that. And again, the YouTube side is really valuable, but this is like with the YouTube channel. And so I had that, and I knew like I wanted to do something more. And that's when I was experimenting with the YouTube ads for those apps. And after I did that, very shortly after, I got what, you know, people would look at as like a golden ticket. It's like, it was a 6-figure job offer to drop out of college, fly out to Silicon Valley, join their team. I was going to get the possibility for vested equity in a company that had raised like A or B round of funding.
Wow. Let's go.
And eventually, it wasn't the original offer. They gave me like 2 or 3 offers that there are like 3 conversations. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 offers, but the final offer was like, you can keep your YouTube channel. Like, you just keep doing your YouTube channel on the side, and you can do this. So it sounded like a golden opportunity. I get to keep my YouTube channel, 6-figure salary, Silicon Valley, you know. College was a little drudgery, and I did end up graduating from college, but like, you know, it was like, oh, that's tempting too, to drop out of college. And then at the same time, I got to keep my YouTube channel as well. But here's the thing, that was a golden ticket, but it was really golden handcuffs. If I had done something like that, right, it would have stifled my ability to create what I wanted to create and grow. I would rather be the king of my own castle than a knight in somebody else's. That's just me as an entrepreneur. Now, not everybody's like that. I've got amazing people on my team, and they're fantastic. And you know, and that's like what you see. So there are people that, you know, and I have an immense like love for entrepreneurs as well. I just know that I'm like the entrepreneur, right? So I wanted to build this myself, and so that's where I said, okay, I'm going to build this myself, and I'm like, I'm going to take the road less traveled. I'm going to take the harder road.
Yes.
And you know, and it was a lot, you know, and it's still like there are. You know, there's a lot of amazing ups. There's also downs, and not a lot of people talk about it in entrepreneurship. But that's the truth, right? There's a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of like challenging times, and it could be a lonely road. But at the same time, it's like if you feel like that's what you're called to do, you go out and do it. And that's where that's kind of where that came from.
I want to take you back in that moment when you said, "I got this golden handcuff," seemingly great on paper, and maybe some of you listening are out there. Yeah. Just for context, y'all know I'm an entrepreneur. I'm doing this on the side, but I'm absolutely enjoying and have a great balance where Aleric is truly a full entrepreneur in that sense.
And everybody has different balances. I'm just sharing my journey, my story.
Exactly. So to that point, when you presented with an opportunity like this, and I want to tie this back to kind of faith a bit right here. We're creating God's image, and we're created, you know, His most unique creation. What made you decided to that moment, hey, I'm going to bet on myself because I'm capable of something greater? Was it just something within you that you knew, or did you have like a strong like friends group that say, you know what, let's review this offer, let's analyze this. I think you can do more on this. So take us back to that moment, because I bet that wasn't a super easy decision.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was a weighty decision. And I think that it was very like, I knew in my heart, I knew that like I was meant to build this as a business.
Yeah.
And I think that exactly like it leads to where this is today. We're creating a massive ripple effect and impact,
100%.
right? And it's those things that like you know, like just like what you're saying, when you feel like called, like this is what I'm here to do, that is what you do, and that was me. And so it's like, exactly, it's like that's the timing, that's everything, you know, falling into place, and now you look back and you say it led me to where I am now and where I'm going. And one of the things that I love, like our mission at AdOutreach, I know I've shared this with you, is we empower businesses to amplify their impact and create a positive ripple effect on the world. Yeah. When we go out and we help individuals, you know, we help different businesses and we help them create that impact, they go out and they help others, and it creates a positive ripple effect. Yeah. And that is just so like amazing for me, because you know, for a little bit, like I was like, all right, milestone, but then like that, it's not the thing to chase, right? The thing to really look at is like, what are you, you know, what are you here to do, and what is that impact that you're able to create, and the ripple effect that you can create. And that is something that has just been really amazing to tap into.
Absolutely, and I can speak to a full testimony of that. Aleric helped me out because he believed in me. He saw that, hey, I'm out to make an impact. We became amazing friends. And then now he's pouring into my life and life of so many other entrepreneurs out there. So y'all make sure to check out his channel. Aleric Heck, that's his personal channel as well. He's posting more of a personal stuff on there, in addition to everything else he's got going on in that regards. So Aleric, if it's okay with you, because you mentioned also earlier that as an entrepreneur, there are ups and downs, and it's always very easy to talk about the ups. Yeah. In the introduction, I painted the picture of all the ups. If it's okay with you, would you like to share some of the hardest moments in your entrepreneurship journey, building this empire around us? What were some of the hardest moments?
Yeah. So I think the hardest moment and moments, you know, kind of, it like, I mean, the reality of like the hardest moments is, of any like entrepreneur and growing a business, is when you learn lessons and you need to, and you feel like you have failed others, right? I think that is the hardest.
The weight of responsibility.
The weight of responsibility and letting people down is the hardest. And what I mean by that is, obviously there's a lot of people I've lifted up. And there's a lot of people that we've created fantastic, like it's just amazing. And at the same time, like, you know, there, with any growing business, sometimes, you know, you need to change a couple things around. And so, you know, we've had to part ways with certain people, you know, different things like that. That's something that I look at as one of the most challenging pieces is, you know, when we, you know, it's just like, as you grow, there's different things. You realize, okay, maybe we don't need this role, or we don't need this type of thing. And in the past, I actually would just kind of brush that under the rug. Oh, we'll keep it. You know, that's a great person. But it's actually doing them a disservice to keep them in a place where they can't thrive and grow.
Right.
And, you know, that's actually giving them those same kind of like golden handcuffs and not letting them be free and go and do something. And I think that those are hard moments, but it's better for the business and better for the individual. And I think it's really hard for people who are watching this who haven't been in the position of scaling a business and having to make, you know, hiring and, you know, letting, you know, and I'm more letting go, you know, decisions, you know, and things like that. It's obviously a lot easier cut and dry when it's you know, firing for, and you still care deeply, but, you know, for like a cause or a specific thing. But just being like, hey, like, I think that this direction, you know, we're going, you know, you're going this way, we're going this way. And, but the thing to think about is ultimately it's always, you know, for the better for the company and for the individual. But I'll tell you, that's like the hardest piece for me is, you know, cause I just want to like impact and help so many people, and I want to lift so many people up. And, I love going on that journey with different people. And the hardest thing is, when that journey comes to an end with certain people. That's the honest answer. Which I don't always give. So you know, I just want to. Well, not that I wouldn't give the honest answer. I don't always talk about. I mean to say, I would always give the honest answer. But you know, so I appreciate you getting to that. Like it's not all ups. There's also challenges too.
And it's never rainbows and sunshines in life. There's a saying, and we all know that with great power come with great responsibility. Obviously, great responsibility come with great power. But you all hear how emotional Aleric gets, because he's usually kind of stoic type of person. He's kind of like, but you see him just like, it took a lot for him to share that, and I just want to acknowledge you for able to kind of, go back into some of those moments, because it's certainly not easy.
Yeah.
And being able to, deliver a hard message, but also liberating message to that person, whatever the case might be, to really let them spread their wings versus, hey, you're kind of plateauing here, and is this a future you want for yourself? It's like, if I were in your shoes, would that be the future I want for me?
Yeah.
Some of those conversations, and that also shows a testament to your amazing heart of yours, that how much you care to have those tough conversations. Because to your point, I think an average leader would just brush it on a rug. We see this way too much in corporate America, where just everyone's on the gravy train. Yeah. But then you look how many people in corporate America is also just kind of limited. Golden handcuffs, silver handcuffs, whatever you want to call it, and they never reach their true potential. And
I'll give you a great example. I literally, and this is just, the timing of everything, like, I literally was on a call earlier today with someone that used to be on our team, and now he's got his own business. He's got multiple people working for him. He's thriving. He's doing great. And that was so amazing to see. And like, we just happened to like run into each other on a call. There was like a group, kind of networking call. And anyways, like that made my heart so happy to see, because that's the full circle, and you don't always see that, and I like to follow up, as I can, but it was really great. And honestly, like that's the lesson right there. It's like, in the moment it can hurt, but it's for the best on both sides. And it's like, and he loved to see the growth and the things that we've been able to do, and to see what he's been able to do. And it's like, wow, this happens for a reason, and that's what that's here for.
God's given everybody a gift, and He certainly gave you a gift of leadership. I just want to acknowledge that in you. I see that in you, brother, and the ways that how you lifted people up. And I'm curious, because this is a faith-based, podcast. Yeah. How has your faith journey been? I know since we talked, I'm always like, hey, let's pray for, let me pray for you. Let's go to church. Yeah. How has your faith journey been the last year on a personal level?
Absolutely. So I've been diving, deeper into my faith as well. I know I share some of the background with you as well, and I've been going to church out here and getting, closer to God and my connection there. And everybody's on different like walks, as we talk about, and I'm still relatively early on my faith journey. At the same time, like, it's been really great. Like the things like being called to like do something. It's like it makes it more, clear and visible, and like, okay, this is like, I am here for a reason, and God has this plan for me. Yeah. And how can I go and impact all of these people? And it connects a lot of the dots. I feel like there were dots that weren't fully connected. Yeah. And as I've been growing in my faith, I've been connecting those dots. And I still have a journey and continuing to connect and dive into all of that. And at the same time, like, I know I'm in the right place, and I know we've talked about this. And I can see how, God is working through me, through you, through even doing things like this podcast. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I don't really usually share this as much publicly, so this is also new for me.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me think that out of you.
Oh, yeah.
I got like imaginary pickaxe right now. Ding, 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 ding. I'm just, let's dig out some good information out already.
I know.
And I share this because I've seen you grow. I've seen you opening your heart. Really, like the last 2 to 3 weeks, we hung out more. Every time we connected, we're able to be more genuine with one another. And the timing of this really couldn't be perfect. So thank you for allowing me to walk side along you in this journey of friendship, and then growth, and then impact together. And there are a lot of people in the faith community. We've all seen those people at churches, been doing that for like 10, 20 years, just get very cynical, very judgmental. But I want you guys also really pay attention, in addition to Aleric's knowledge, what he's capable of in the YouTube space, in the personal branding space. You also saw his heart just now, how pure of joy that was. How genuine that was, that he just wanted to empower people. He just wanted to lift people up. People like that are rare, guys. And so take note of that. Take note of that. And then for you, I will say, don't lose sight of that, because that's what ultimately, that's one of your superpowers, man. That's definitely one of your superpowers. And Aleric, I can keep you here, like, we can talk.
I know, we could go on and on. I have the energy and all that.
Yeah, this is amazing. But one of the things I do, kind of want to ask, is maybe we'll kind of wrap this up a little bit. And are there anything that I should ask you in your life journey, life lessons that I haven't yet? Maybe there's some epiphany, maybe there's some life lesson that you wish to share with the audience. I haven't asked you yet, but I should.
I think one of the big lessons that I learned really is that the journey is the reward, right? I think too often we're so focused on the destination. Yeah. And what do we do as entrepreneurs, people who are driven? Yeah. We move the goalpost a little bit further. Yeah. We move the goalpost a little bit further. But really, it's the journey. It's what we're on. That is the reward, and that is honestly such a amazing thing to see. And we also talked about growing in faith too. That's something that I've also come to really realize is like as I dive into all of that, it's all aligned, right? Yeah, it's like absolutely. and like I think that you look at that, it's like it's not designed like that's why we're here is exactly to be able to do that and have that impact. And it's like not just about a destination, it's about the connections, the people, the things that you do along the way. And that's something that I've really tapped into, because I think for a long time I was really like, okay, I'm rushing to here, and then I'm rushing to here, and then I'm rushing to here. But it's like, well, wait a second, no, like this is where life is. This is also that is the reward, the impact that we create today, the friends that we make, the things that we do along the way, and that's what I love to see.
Beautiful, man. I want to ask a question about that with you, because one of the challenges I've had growing up in my business venture, especially real estate, it can really feel like transactional based on the season. You have all this waiting, and then all of a sudden things align, you make a deal, come out profitable, hopefully, and then you kind of reach that goal. And for me, whenever I reach that milestone, I notice I will plateau a little. Oh, yeah. I kind of take it easy. It's like, oh, time to celebrate, time to go on vacation. That became my automatic mindset. I'm curious for your leadership journey and your business journey. Whenever you did reach a milestone, was there any tools or self-talk or whatever that kept you going, embracing the journey? Or did you have similar kind of relaxation mindset? You just want to take a break for a moment, similar to what I did early in my life?
This is the interesting thing. I had the exact opposite.
Oh,
and I think we got to come back together, because I remember distinctly hitting some, like my biggest, what had been at that time, like my biggest revenue month. And I was, and then literally the next month was a little bit lower, and I was like upset about that. I was like, oh, I need to like push more. I need to push more, go bigger, and not really taking any time to, celebrate the journey and the accomplishments and the achievements. And I was just going so fast paced. And I had, at the time, coaches and mentors who were fantastic in different ways, but in other ways, they were telling me like, normalize. This is the new level. This is the new level. This is the new level. You can do better than that, And again, there is a time and a place for that, right? It's like kind of similar to high performance sports, right? It's like, you want to like normalize, like you can't just be, like, oh, wow, I did the best ever and I'm only going to do that once. It's like, no, like, you do want to normalize, and at the same time, to your point, you also want to celebrate and say like, hey, like I've been able to accomplish this without getting your eye off the ball. So some people like what you're saying, and this is, I think it just speaks to, right, like the nature of things getting like being balanced, finding that balance is, you could on one side say, hey, I'm good, I'm going to take a little break. Or not a little break, like a longer break maybe. Or on the other side, you could say, I'm just going to keep pushing. There's bigger goals. Yeah. But really, the balance is in the middle. How can we celebrate the wins, be there for that part of the journey that we're all on? And how can we also say, and I'm excited to do what's next and continue to grow, because I know there's so much more impact I can have.
I wish I knew you 10 years ago, because us working together would have been perfect. Based on what you just said, you'd be the person like, let's go for next goal. I'd be like, let's take a vacation to the Bahamas, right? And then we would have this boardroom voting between the two of us. I'm like, all right, let's settle on compromise, 3 days vacation, then we get back into it.
Or a workcation.
Or something.
Bahamas, like half.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Aleric, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, with the audience today. And I can't wait for our next conversation. And I'm really excited to see how our friendship developed over the years, and really grateful that God put you in my life. I can't wait to see how he's going to utilize you, make a greater impact. You already have, and a lot of strategy Aleric has taught me. I'm utilizing my YouTube channel right now. Again, I'll put everything in the description so y'all can check him out and then get in touch with Aleric. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah.